Am I the antagonist for refusing to write my father's girlfriend a thank you note? I am an only child. My parents, who are both senior citizens, have been divorced for the past 16 years. There is no hope of reconciliation between them, but they are each other's best friends as they've known each other for 46 years. He still meets with both of us for breakfast once a week. She even pays his online bills for him because he's a complete and utter technophobe. For the past 10 years or more of this arrangement, my father has been involved with a woman we'll call Lauren. I've never met Lauren, and I wouldn't like to. She firmly believes that exes should have nothing to do with each other. No exceptions. She once threw my father out of her home where he was living at the time and destroyed his personal belongings because a friend saw him having dinner with my mom and me to celebrate a special occasion. My father refuses to tell Lauren that his friendship with his ex-wife is non-negotiable, which is unfair to her. He also demands that my mom and I remain silent if she calls him in our presence, and he even refuses to come out and celebrate my birthday at a restaurant for fear of Lauren finding out he was at the same table as my mom. This is unfair to us. I have tried at various stages to tell my father that although it's none of my business how he runs his personal life, this situation of lying to his girlfriend and expecting us to cover for him is unfair to everyone involved. Unfortunately, my attempts to reason with him have been unsuccessful, and now we come to the current conundrum. My father recently had a birthday. In addition to our family breakfast, I meet him for lunch once a week. Lauren knows about this, so she gave him a gift card for us to eat at a fancy restaurant, the Cheesecake Factory. He is insisting that I write her a thank you note for being considerate and giving us this gift. I did write a thank you note once before, many years ago, in order to keep the peace. However, I am no longer interested in enabling this double standard behavior. I declined to write the thank you note. He claims that I am being rude and inconsiderate, and that it's the least I can do to show my appreciation for her generous and thoughtful gift. I strongly believe that endorsing his behavior is wrong, but I also feel like an ungrateful jerk who is disappointing his dad. Edit. For clarity, I did not use the gift card. I did not ask for the gift card. I do not have the gift card. My father has the gift card and is insisting that I write the thank you note regardless of whether we have used it or not, because it's the thought that counts. He is also insisting that we use it for our next lunch meeting. I have very little control over whether he does so or not. So Reddit, am I the jerk in this situation? Your father is putting you in a difficult position by expecting you to lie and cover for him in his relationship with Lauren. It is unfair to you and your mother to be forced to hide your interactions with your father, and it is also unfair to Lauren to be kept in the dark about your father's continued friendship with his ex-wife. In this specific situation, you are not ungrateful or rude for declining to write a thank you note for a gift you did not ask for or receive. It is your right to stand up for your beliefs and boundaries, and endorsing your father's behavior would only perpetuate the double standard and dishonesty in his relationship with Lauren. It might be worth having a calm and honest conversation with your father about how his actions are affecting you and your mother. Encourage him to be open and honest with Lauren about his friendship with his ex-wife, and to reevaluate the expectations he has placed on you and your mother to cover for him. Am I the antagonist for removing the toilet paper from my guest bathroom because my parents will not learn to use the bidet? My wife and I made a decision a few years ago to live a comfortable and stress-free life. As a result, we moved our family to a different location. Our new home is a spacious and older house, and we enrolled our kids in a private school that offers a superior education compared to the public schools they used to attend. Additionally, we no longer have to worry about shoveling snow or mowing the lawn. We hired a housekeeper to handle household chores so that my wife and I can focus on work and our children. Overall, our new lifestyle has been beneficial for us. However, there's one small issue that we haven't addressed yet: our septic system. It needs an upgrade in order to allow us to flush toilet paper, which would be an additional expense. Personally, I couldn't get used to the idea of throwing toilet paper in a garbage can by the toilet after wiping. To solve this problem, I spent around $300 to install wand-style bidets on all our toilets. These bidets work like handheld shower heads and help to clean your backside with water. Afterwards, we can use a small amount of toilet paper to dry ourselves. None of us have any issues with disposing of slightly damp toilet paper in the garbage can, and I must say it has greatly improved our hygiene. Our house also has a guest suite, which we often use for accommodating visitors. Of course, we always inform them about the plumbing situation, and most people have no problem with it. However, my parents strongly disliked it. When they visited on 2 separate occasions, they ended up causing plumbing issues due to their refusal to adapt. This summer, when they came again, I decided I wouldn't tolerate it any longer. I removed the toilet paper from the bathrooms they had access to and instead provided hand towels for them to dry themselves after using the bidets. My dad got extremely upset and began yelling from the bathroom that he needed toilet paper. I gave him instructions through the door, but he outright refused. I wasn't going to tolerate his unwillingness to comply any further, so I walked away. Eventually, he emerged from the bathroom wearing only one sock. Both he and my mom packed their things and left, opting to stay in a hotel with modern plumbing facilities. This meant that they had to wake up early if they wanted to have breakfast with us, and that their evenings were cut short since they couldn't continue enjoying wine and sunsets with us. Moreover, they spent a considerable amount of money on the hotel. Recently, my wife and I attended a family wedding, where my parents were complaining to everyone about how poorly I had treated them during their stay, leading them to spend money on a hotel, despite having access to our guest suite. I mostly refrained from responding until other people began labeling me as an inconsiderate person. That's when I decided to tell them the entire story, including the part where my dad resorted to wiping himself with a sock. The whole situation turned into a hilarious anecdote at the wedding, and now my dad is upset, claiming that I made him look foolish. Personally, I believe that my dad could have at least tried to follow my instructions from the beginning. My mom thinks I should not have taken the toilet paper away, but I had already given them a chance twice before. Am I the asshole in this situation? You made it clear to your parents about the different plumbing system and provided alternative options such as the hand towels. It was your home and your rules, and your parents should have respected your wishes. Their refusal to follow your instructions and causing plumbing issues twice shows a lack of consideration and respect for your home and its unique setup. It is understandable that your dad may have found it uncomfortable or inconvenient, but his refusal to comply and subsequent anger can be seen as an overreaction. Additionally, their decision to complain to others and tarnish your reputation at a family wedding seems unwarranted. However, it is important to consider your mother's perspective as well. She believes that you could have taken a different approach by not removing the toilet paper altogether. It may have been worth discussing a compromise or finding a way to address their concerns without completely removing the option of using toilet paper. Ultimately, you had good intentions and made efforts to accommodate your parents by providing alternatives. Their refusal to accept these alternatives and their subsequent behavior may have influenced their negative experience. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister I can't come to her wedding because I refuse to be around her dad again? My sister, who is 22 years old, is getting married. We were having a conversation with our mom about her wedding, and she mentioned that our dad would be there. Our mom and dad were together from the time I was a baby until I turned 8. Unfortunately, during those years, he was extremely cruel to me and resented me for being the child of another man, even though he started dating a single mom. Initially, he hid this mistreatment from my mom, but when I told her what was happening, she confronted him, and he shamelessly displayed his disgusting behavior towards me. As a result, I have been left with many emotional issues. Even though he was the closest thing I had to a dad, he made it abundantly clear that he never wanted to be a father figure to me. My parents got divorced, and there was a custody dispute because my mom didn't want him to turn my sister against me. My sister was allowed to see him every other weekend, but she also had to undergo therapy for several years because the court acknowledged the risk of him poisoning our relationship. Furthermore, he was not allowed to come near me. The last time I saw him was when I was 14, and he came to pick up my sister even though he wasn't supposed to. I was home alone for a few hours, and he was just as cruel to me at the door as when he was married to my mom. He accused me of destroying my sister's family and being a toxic presence. When my mom came back with my sister, they found me in tears and emotionally distressed. I've been receiving extensive therapy since I was 8 to help deal with the aftermath of these experiences. Although I haven't been in therapy consistently every week since then, I have needed a lot of support, and some lingering issues persist. I cannot be in the presence of that man. However, my sister loves her dad and wants him to be there at her wedding. After she informed us about this and told us the wedding was happening in March, I informed my sister that I would not be able to attend. She pleaded with me not to do that and suggested that she could keep me away from her dad, or maybe even get him to apologize. I explained to her that he broke me and I cannot bear to be around him again. She then asked me to prioritize my love for her over my feelings towards her dad. I tried to convey that it's not even a matter of hate, but rather the trauma he inflicted upon me. He tormented an innocent little girl simply because she wasn't his biological child when he knowingly married my mom, who already had me. I told her that this man used to wish harm upon a child for merely existing in a way he didn't approve of. My mom told my sister that she needed to respect the fact that her dad had caused so much harm and that it's not something I can just overlook. My sister cried, expressing that she loves both me and her dad and doesn't want to have one of us absent on her big day. Mom said that if I were a minor, she would have made the decision for me and taken the same course of action. This made my sister upset, and she started to argue that I should let go of the past and accept that she loves her dad. Am I the asshole? You went through a traumatic experience due to your sister's dad's mistreatment of you. It is completely understandable and valid for you to not want to be around him on such an important day. Your sister should respect your boundaries and understand the impact he has had on your life. It is not fair for her to expect you to simply let it go and prioritize her relationship with her dad over your own well-being. Your mother is right in supporting your decision as well. It would be best for your sister to find a compromise or alternative solution that allows both of you to be present in a way that feels safe and comfortable for everyone involved. Am I the antagonist for wanting my pregnant daughter to do something with her life and not rely on me? My 40-year-old daughter, Rita, who is 22 years old, is pregnant. She's almost 20 weeks along and just informed me a few days ago. Rita moved back in with me and my husband, her stepdad, after the place she was renting with her boyfriend, who is 22 years old, and a former roommate didn't work out. Rita and her boyfriend are still together and have decided to keep the baby. Her boyfriend lives about an hour and a half away. However, Rita's not taking any responsibility. She doesn't work or go to school. She stays up watching TV until early in the morning and sleeps until the afternoon most days. She only cleans her room when I tell her to and neglects tasks such as washing dishes, doing laundry, and taking out the trash. Whenever I try to talk to her about this, she starts crying and screaming, accusing me of hating her and trying to stress her out. She claims she can't handle it. My other young adult child is a college student who also works part-time. They were raised with the same rules and expectations. I attempted to explain to Rita that she needs to mature because she will soon be a parent. This only led to more crying and screaming. She throws herself on the floor and sobs, refusing to accept that she needs to step up and take care of the baby and be a responsible parent. I emphasize that the baby is her and her boyfriend's responsibility, not mine, and they need to rise to the occasion. I suggested she should go to school or work, or even both, and apply for daycare assistance and any other available support. I urged her to stop avoiding her responsibilities and start making something of her life. I had kids at a young age, but I still found the time to attend school part-time for several years to achieve my goals. Our conversations always end with Rita on the floor, crying, screaming, and throwing tantrums. The only time she does anything is when I force her to, or her boyfriend comes to pick her up. Other than those instances, she can go 4-5 days without showering or changing clothes. I've made it clear to her that this behavior needs to stop. I love her, but I refuse to raise her baby or take care of her like a child. She knows what is expected of her. Rita believes I am in the wrong because I'm turning my back on her and my grandchild. She believes if they suffer, it will be my fault because I am capable of providing them with a good life and a stable home. But I'd rather make her struggle. I would never let the baby go without. Am I the asshole? Edit. I had a calm conversation with Rita about these issues while we were both in decent moods and over her favorite foods. Rita admits that being an adult is scary and the idea of having a baby is overwhelming. She wishes she could go back to being a kid without all the adult worries and responsibilities. She somewhat regrets getting pregnant and giving up her freedom, but she and her boyfriend agreed to keep the baby, even though she wishes she hadn't agreed so quickly. She feels a bit trapped and overwhelmed. I asked her about the tantrums, and she explained that it's easier for her to avoid facing reality right now. She has no interest in going to school or working. She prefers spending her time doing things that bring her personal fulfillment and happiness. I told her that I understand and sympathize, but it doesn't change the fact that she is expecting a baby and the current situation. I suggested the possibility of an open adoption, but Rita rejected that idea, stating it is not an option for her and her boyfriend. However, she admits she has no idea how they will manage once the baby arrives and feels uncertain and scared. Once again, I suggested seeking therapy, but Rita is currently uninterested, as she believes it implies that she is defective or inadequate as she is. Rita continued to talk and vent, and I remained quiet and listened. Your sister was completely out of line with her comments. It's unfair for her to criticize your aura or claim that you are too negative just because you prioritize your career and set boundaries. You have worked hard to build your bakery, and it's understandable that you need to prioritize it during busy times like 4th of July weekend. Your retort about her job and financial situation may not have been the most tactful, but it seems like it was a response to her unwarranted criticism. It's also concerning that she is making social media posts about you and accusing you of bullying. She needs to take responsibility for her own actions and not play the victim. Your parents asking you to apologize may be an attempt to keep the peace, but it's important for them to recognize that your sister instigated the conflict with her hurtful comments. It's up to you to decide whether or not you want to apologize, but I would suggest discussing the situation with your parents and expressing how you feel about your sister's behavior and the unfairness of the situation. Overall, your sister's comments were uncalled for, and you have every right to stand up for yourself. Focus on your bakery and finding love on your own terms. Am I the antagonist for yelling at my sister because she had been dating my boss without telling? My fiancé and I are getting married in about a year after being together for almost 8 years. Everything has been going well with the wedding planning, until a couple of weeks ago. We are both frugal, so we plan to cut unnecessary wedding expenses as much as possible. About 2 weeks ago, my fiancé came downstairs after talking on the phone with his older sister and told me how excited she was to be a bridesmaid. I hadn't asked her to be my bridesmaid, and I don't plan on having any bridesmaids or a maid of honor, so I assumed they were talking about another friend. It slowly dawned on me that she was actually referring to our wedding. I quickly corrected my fiancé and explained that she wouldn't be a bridesmaid since I wasn't having any. He got upset, which is unusual, and said I was being silly. He told me that it would be weird for me to have no bridesmaids, unfair to his sister to be left out, and unfair because he was planning on having 9 groomsmen, which I hadn't known. I explained my reasoning, which was that I'm trying to save money by not having bridesmaids, and more importantly, I don't have enough friends to choose from. The only people I could think of would be my sister and his sister, and having two bridesmaids from our families would make me look sad. We took a break from the argument for the rest of the evening, but it came up again the next morning. He argued that it's his sister, and if he wants her in the wedding, she should be in it. I agreed and said she could be part of his wedding party if he wanted. I don't have any brothers, so my siblings wouldn't be part of his groomsmen. He then pointed out that it would be weird for him to have groomsmen when I don't have anyone on my side. He said that to avoid it looking weird, he would have to give up his groomsmen. I was diagnosed with high-functioning autism as a child, so I've never been great at picking up social cues. Whenever I make friends, they never seem to stick around. Additionally, I lived alone in college, didn't join any sororities or clubs, don't keep in touch with anyone from high school, and I'm not close with my older colleagues. In my free time, I volunteer at a dog shelter, go to the gym, or work on my online masters. He knows that I'm self-conscious and sad about my lack of friends, so I don't understand why he's making such a big deal about it for our wedding. I spoke with my sister, who agrees with me and understands where I'm coming from. I believe his sister would understand too. I don't feel like I'm stopping him from having groomsmen if he wants them, but he keeps insisting that I am, and that I should either hire professional bridesmaids, which I can't afford, or make friends. Am I the asshole? Your reasons for not having bridesmaids are valid, and it's not fair for your fiancé to pressure you into having them just because he wants his sister to be a part of the wedding. Your fiancé's argument that it would look weird if he had groomsmen while you have no bridesmaids is not a strong one. It is not uncommon for wedding parties to be unbalanced, and having a different number of bridesmaids and groomsmen is not a big deal. It is your day, and you should not feel pressured to have bridesmaids just to match his groomsmen. Furthermore, it is hurtful for him to suggest that you hire professional bridesmaids or go make friends just for the sake of your wedding. Your lack of friends is not something you can control, and he should be understanding and supportive of your feelings rather than making you feel insecure. Ultimately, compromises and understanding are needed in a relationship, including when it comes to wedding planning. It's important for you and your fiancé to have a calm and open conversation about your respective desires and feelings and find a solution that works for both of you. Am I the antagonist for betraying my wife with honesty? I will try to keep this text short and to the point. My wife of 7 years has always had this odd quirk about her where she, without sugarcoating it, likes to copy others. I have attempted to softly talk to her about it, but it has been a trigger for her because her parents always got on her about being a follower. This tendency of hers has caused problems between her friends as their patience with it has run out. When I say she copies others, some examples off the top of my head are: 1. She will completely change her lifestyle to match someone she just met or is becoming friends with. After going out only one time with her coworker, she came home with a desire to get her nose pierced. I have known her for 9 years, and she had never shown interest in that before. This is common behavior for her. 2. She tends to act like she came up with ideas that others have shared with her, and will forget that it was mentioned. 3. She will buy exactly what her friends have. Same color, same model, exact product, and claim she liked it for a long time and only recently decided to buy it. When we talk about this stuff, she often replies with, I don't know, I don't care. This behavior led to a blow-up with her friend, whom I will call Anna. Anna recently decorated her porch for fall, and my wife liked it. The next few days, my wife basically replicated our porch to look like Anna's porch. Apparently, this caused a commotion in their group chat, as they share themes with each other through the Pinterest app, and it was already known what everyone was planning. Anna is annoyed that my wife essentially stole her decoration ideas, after Anna had put a lot of time into it. She presented the argument to me, and I honestly agreed that our porch is indeed similar to Anna's porch. The wreath is the same, the pillows are the same, the pumpkins are the same. It's all the same. I can't deny it. However, I don't think it's worth all this fighting. So, I suggested that my wife could switch it up with different colors than what Anna used, and simply say she admired her work and didn't mean to offend her. I thought that would be a simple solution to this petty issue. My wife blew up and asked why I didn't just marry Anna since her work is so nice. Reddit, I wasn't trying to make this situation worse. Maybe I messed up, and if so, I'll take responsibility for it. But I honestly thought being honest would give her a different perspective and resolve the issue. Instead, it gave her the wrong perspective, and she still isn't speaking to me. It sounds like you genuinely tried to offer a solution to the issue and handle the situation diplomatically. Your wife's tendency to copy others may stem from deeper issues, and it might be worth exploring therapy to address these issues. It's understandable that her friends are frustrated, but blowing up the situation may not be the most productive way to resolve it. It's important for your wife to understand the impact her actions have on others and find healthier ways to express herself. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.